Doo-doo-dee. It's Nandi!
Hello friends, I'm in the process of a house move this week, but have another video to bring you all thanks to Aernz, who's helped me record these fights. Together, we're bringing you another quest walkthrough, this time for the World Eater Azkor. On this slide you can see the characters that we used and the rarities required for each of them. You'll note that no legendary characters were used for the entire event, and at most we have used characters at a gold 1 rarity. For every stage that we fight, I'll show you the rarity of the characters used alongside the gameplay footage. Common 1 asks us to fight without heavy round damage and without taking any damage on our main characters. Positioning wise, we have a triangle with Abraxas at the top and Azkor at the bottom left. We bring the two Chaos Summoners here and the fight is straightforward. Abraxas summons in the south of the map and defeats the enemy Necrons. The Necrons on the top of the map run forward and we defeat them on our second turn. Common 2 continues to use the summoner strategy that works so well across quest modes. Positioning is Azkor, Yazagor, Archimatos and Abraxas from left to right. Abraxas summons his daemons in the middle of the map against the enemy scarabs. He is then teleported further north with Yazagor and Archimatos finishing off the last scarab swarm. Archie's psychic attack continues Abraxas' summon chain and we win the battle easily. You'll quickly see that Chaos quests are a bit of the Abraxas and Yazagor show. Common 3 positioning is shown here on screen, and to be honest, Rarities does nothing in this team and can easily be swapped for someone else. We summon with Abraxas in the middle of the map before teleporting him with Yazagor and creating another chain of summons. The remaining Necron enemies do not have enough in the tank to defeat our forces, and we clear the node without difficulty. For uncommon, we are once again using the Chaos Summoners alongside our quest character. This node is probably as easy as it gets, with each summoner using their active ability on a different group of Necrons for an easy win. Abraxas summons to the south and Archimatos to the north. Sadly for Uncommon 2 we can't use psychic damage characters, so we temporarily have to bench our Psyker summoners. Here we use Azkor, Rotbone, Volk and Harkin from left to right. Volk starts the fight off with his active ability before Harkin finishes off the Scarab Swarm in the middle. There isn't a huge amount of complexity to this fight, but it does require some healing through Rotbone, so just make sure you can stay healthy as you fight through the Necrons. Phew, Uncommon 3 and our Psyker friends are back. I'll freeze the frame for a while so that you can see the starting position here. We start by positioning Yazagor into the pocket of space in the top right of the screen. Abraxas then moves forward and summons a bunch of daemons on the bottom left. Yazagor does the old switcheroo and Abraxas gets his second summon chain initiated through Archie. Azkor and Rarities don't do a huge amount for this fight, so you can swap them out as needed depending on your current roster. The enemies attack our summons and then we finish the fight without too much difficulty. Now we move on to Rare. Rare 1 asks for a minimum of 2 hits and no Death Guard. Sadly, this means no Summoners or Malladus or Rotbone. It's a pretty easy level if you have the right characters. Azkor and Rask attack the northern Necrons in sequence so that they both get a shield from Rask's passive. Volk stays in the low ground and uses his active ability. The Necrons aren't able to burst through the shield and die on the subsequent turn. As a side note, particularly about this level, due to the RNG nature of the Necron reanimation protocols, it is possible to fail this level even with this optimal team setup. For Rare 2, Malladus and Rotbone accompany Azkor. Rotbone's active clears a nice swathe of enemy Necrons. This then leaves a nice concave for Azkor to walk into and use his own active. Azkor kills all of these Necrons on his next turn and gains loads of stacks of damage, which let him and the Death Guard deal with the Ophidian destroyers when they emerge from their burrow. Don't forget to heal Azkor before the fight ends. In Rare 3 we use Abraxas and Rask. Azkor starts off and uses his active against the Necrons in the southeast before Rask joins him and applies a shield. Abraxas summons to the north and locks the Ophidian destroyer in place. The Necrons cannot break through the shield and we clean up the fight on turn 2. Rare 4 is tricky because we cannot use the Thousand Suns faction. Our characters are set up as shown on screen. Azkor uses his active to the northwest, after which Artemitos uses his active to summon bloodletters around the Ophidian destroyer. Volk kills the Scarab Swarm at the bottom of the map. After this crucial turn 1 positioning, it's just a question of wiping out the remaining Necrons while staying healthy through Rotbone's healing. I'll pause on this screen for a second to let us see the positioning for Rare 5. We continue to abuse the Abraxas and Yazagor synergy here, and Abraxas summons on the bottom of the map. We use Azkor to tank the Overwatch from Immaspec before swapping Yazagor with Abraxas and then using Archie to trigger another summon chain. That creates a load of summons for us, and we just keep our own units healthy with Rotbone before finishing the fight. We're into Epic now, and the Thousand Suns join Azkor. We use Azkor and Yazagor to kill the central Necron and swap Abraxas into position. Abraxas then occupies the now empty central hex and summons with his active ability to kill the remaining enemies. For Epic 2, our forces are split into two sides. We get Abraxas into the middle and summon with his active, after which Archie summons some bloodletters on the right flank and our remaining 2 units clear up the left flank. On turns 2 and 3 we slowly pick off the Ophidian destroyers, bearing in mind that we need to present summons as attractive targets to keep them distracted and away from our main characters. Epic 3 gets us to summon with Abraxas on the left hand side before we swap him over to the right with Yazagor. Archie attacks and triggers another summon chain. Volk and Azkor here are fairly surplus to requirements, and we are able to win this level with our army of summons. For Legendary, this one is a little tricky with our self-imposed Gold 1 cap, but it is doable. You'll have better results obviously if your characters are more built up. Maladus, Azkor and Artemitos clear up the left-hand front line using their attacks, and Abraxas summons Daemons on the bottom right. The enemy Necrons will prioritize killing your summons. On turn 2, we use Archie to summon bloodletters around the leftmost Ophidian destroyer, while Azkor moves through the middle and uses his active ability. These are probably the core movements, and after this you're left with scraps of an enemy force that should be easy enough to finish. Just bear in mind you'll need to heal any damage taken with Rotbone. That's all I've got for today. Hopefully it was good and useful. I have to reiterate my thanks to Aernz for getting me this footage, as my usual setup is down while I'm moving house. I've put his referral code here on screen. It earns you 100 Blackstone and supports him, which in turn helps me do the work that I do. It is single use though, so choose who you support carefully. Bye for now.
Doo-doo-dee. It's Nandi!